All right, good Friday morning. Today's Friday, February 21st, 2025, and this is your safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department here at Prime. With me, I've got David White, also in the safety department. Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Dennis.
Hey, we like to do these meetings. We want to welcome you all for being here. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri, and we are simulcasting to our other locations in Pittston, Pennsylvania, and in Salt Lake City, Utah. And of course, we are live across the social media networks, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to kind of get a bird's eye view or view in to see what we've got going on here at Prime Incorporated, to learn a few things from a safety perspective and maybe get some questions answered that you previously didn't have the answers to. So, with these, we like to jump right into our speakers here now lately. So we're going to start right away. We're going to get our first speaker up. Who we got first, Dave?
First, we got Rachel from Driver Health and Fitness.
Good morning, Rachel.
And I think she's going to have a guest join her too as well.
Everyone.
So good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Rachel. I'm the dietitian with Driver Health and Fitness. I'm going to introduce Maria. So she is our personal trainer out in Pittston, Pennsylvania. She's going to be talking about our health tip today, kind of going off of a little bit of what we talked about last week with one of the aspects of like self-respect and like self-love is fostering your personal connections or your personal relationships with people. So yeah, let me hand it over to her. I don't know if she's ready, but yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. Would you want to pull up the thing? Thank you. Okay, so Maria, if you ever need help with a personal trainer, we have Maria, who is out in Pittston, and then we have Matt, who is out in Salt Lake, and they can do online programming for you. So has anyone ever seen on the Prime app where you can go to like either side, either menu side, but you can go to the Driver Health and Fitness drop down? Has anyone ever seen that? So, okay, so yeah, you can go to the Driver Health and Fitness drop down and you can do a check-in. So you can do a nutrition check-in with me if you just want to like update me on your goals or like you want help with a specific goal. You can do the same thing with Maria and Matt. Or you can go to our site from that menu drop down. You can go to the DHF site and then under the services tab, you can go to personal training and they can program whatever you want. They can keep in touch with you as often as you need and just keep up with your goals. Like let's say you're just trying to get in a basic like stretching and mobility routine. They can even help with that, So yeah, just be in touch with them however often you need to. So. Has anyone ever used the personal trainer or Johanna who is here? Yeah. Okay, well, awesome. Yeah, and we also have a lot of workout videos on our YouTube as well. So if you ever want to have those follow along videos, like a workout to just follow along to like 15-ish minutes or so is usually like 12 to 15 minutes is about the length that we do them so that they're small enough to fit in your 30-minute break if you have the chance to do that on your 30. And yeah, we have a ton of those on our YouTube. So okay, awesome. Hi, Maria. Okay, I think we're ready to have you do the health tip. Thank you.
Boy, we were
All
not
right. Oh, we got her.
I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? I'm sorry we didn't hear the very beginning of the meeting. But yes, I'm Maria. I'm with Driver Health and Fitness. I am here to talk to you today about the single most powerful force on the planet. It's invisible, yet we all have them, and they help shape our lives. They are relationships, friendships, and connection. And as you can see, positive and meaningful connections make us feel happier and contribute to health and longevity. Healthy relationships and connections result in you being less sick, believe it or not. And when and if you do get ill or sick, better relationships help you recover quicker, reduces stress and anxiety, and they actually help you live longer. And I've seen this firsthand. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. She was given 6 months to live. As you can imagine, us leaving the hospital in tears, very upset. She had the mindset to say, you know what, I have too much to live for. And she walked out of that hospital, made connections, had a strong mindset. She would go for doctor's appointments, go to chemotherapy appointments. She'd ask the nurses, she knew them all by name. She'd ask them how they were, how their grandchildren were. The doctor would come into the room to check her out, and she was asking him, hey, how are you? How was your vacation you went on? We had her for 6 years. 6 months from the oncologist, top notch in Philly, gave her 6 months. She lived for 6 years. So I have seen it firsthand. Loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, dementia, and depression. Believe it or not, loneliness is a detriment to your health. It is worse on your body than smoking, high blood pressure, and obesity. So you need to go out, and you do need to go out and make those connections, build those relationships in small doses. They don't have to be, really deep, heartfelt conversations each time. We are humans, and we are hardwired for connections. You actually have a muscle in your brain that you must exercise for connection. And, in ways that you could do that, have two-way conversations. Talk to people. Put your phones down in waiting rooms. Put your phones down while you're waiting for your breakfast. Talk to people and value the people that are around you. I think we're good.
Thank you, Maria. That was awesome. So yeah, if you guys want to work with Maria, you can reach her on the Prime app, or you can also just go to the Driver Health and Fitness site and just reach her from there. Thank you all.
Thank you, Maria, for sharing your personal story. Dave.
That's an awesome message, man. You're told 6 months to live, and her mom lives for 6 years. That's great. And, many times, doctors aren't always right, at the end of the day. So that's a great story and great message to put out there. And being a driver here, yeah, it is kind of a lonely profession. There's no doubt. But make sure you make those contacts, and many of them, Dennis, are right in-house here. You can make with your fleet manager, with your log person, with your maintenance person, all those relationships are extremely important, and get to know them. At the end of the day, there's a driver at my desk yesterday asking me about his fleet manager. He goes, well, he's probably busy. I've never met him before. I'm just, he doesn't have time for me. I said, no, he does have time. Go down and see him. And he did. He went downstairs and came back up. He said that was a great conversation he had. So never think your fleet manager's too busy, because that personal communication, get to know him. Go down and meet him. When you're on site here, if it's up in Pittston, up in Salt Lake, tell them you're going to be at the terminal. Go, I'd like to meet you. Can we meet there at the terminal if they're working from home? Many times they'll say, hey, yeah, I'll show up. I'll get there, and I'd love to meet you. And that's what it's about. Trucking's about, getting together and working together, because that's your business partner, and getting to know each other. So that's what I love about it.
Really, the most important thing is relationships. So we'll move on to our next speaker. We talk about how to take care of yourself for here just a minute. Now we're going to talk about how to take care of your equipment. This morning when I left home, it was -5 degrees here in Springfield, Missouri. I think it's warmed up. It's 3 degrees now. So I think there's probably some folks out there that may need a little bit of juice to get those engines started. So good morning, Trent.
It's pretty cold. Yeah, good morning, everybody. So this morning, we're actually going to talk about jump starts. I haven't covered that in a while, so I wanted to go over it. So to start with, excuse me, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how to actually do a jump start. I've got a video on our YouTube channel. If you need that info, go watch that video, and it'll show you what to do. But I wanted to go over a few challenges that we have around jump starts. So I've got a slide that I want to put up. It's going to show a couple of pictures of our reefer units. The picture on the left is Carrier, right is Thermo King. These are where the batteries are actually at on our reefers. So if, you guys are a reefer, most of you've got it easier than anybody else in the trucking world, because you can use that reefer to jumpstart your truck. On the Carrier units, it's going to be on the left side of the engine. You're going to open the side door to access the battery. On the Thermo Kings, it's on the other side, on the driver's side. So open that side door up right there, and that'll gain you access to the battery. Next, you're going to need to hook it up to your tractor. Oh, one more thing. On the reefer batteries, we want you to hook your jumper cables up to those reefer batteries first, especially on the Carrier units, because there's not a lot of space right there. You got about 1.5 inches to get those cables in. If you've already got them hooked up to a power source and they're live cables, they're going to spark against something, and we don't want that. So dead cables on your reefer first. Next slide. This is going to be on the truck side. So what I've got here, a couple of pictures of different trucks, and I'm circling the jump posts that we have on the back of our cabs. So back of every one of our trucks right now, we've got jump posts. They're a red and a black post. Hook your jumper cables up to those and it'll jump start your truck for you. But pro tip, guys, when you're done doing the jump start, you've got to make sure those boots are back on those posts. You can see we've done that on the left picture on the Freightliner, but the right picture right there, the Peterbilt, we don't even have any boots on those posts. There's nothing to cover those posts up with. And that's bad. That's a big fire threat. That red post is live battery voltage. If something metal touches that and grounds out, it's potentially going to cause a fire. So be really careful when you do a jump start. When you're done, get those boots put back on those posts. Moving on, it's important that we're using the right tools. So jumper cables, first of all, make sure you have them on your equipment at all times. Never take them off your truck. Every winter, we see this pop up several times. We'll have a driver, they're somewhere out there on the road and need a jump start, and they tell us that they just took their cables off and left them at the house. Get some different cables for your car. Make sure your jumper cables for your truck stay with your truck, so you've got them when you need them out there. Another good thing to get, and it's dropped in price pretty dramatically in the last few years, is a jump pack. And this is kind of a must-have for non-reefer. If you're flatbed or tanker, having a jump pack is really going to help you out there. So, products try to be confusing and convince you they're, maybe a little bit stronger than they really are. And this particular product is kind of confusing. When you go and search for different jump packs, they try to kind of trick you and think that it is a lot stronger jump pack than it really is. So you need to search for a specific verbiage on the product that you're looking at. Look at how big of an engine the jump pack can actually turn over and crank. So you need to search for a jump pack that can crank at least a 12-liter diesel engine. If it'll crank a 12-liter engine, you should be good. So next, the next slide, back on track here. This picture that I'm showing you right now is a chart of different state of charges. So as the battery starts to get weaker and weaker, the state of the charge is going to drop too. And once you get down to about 11.75 volts in the battery, if you try to use that battery, it actually does some damage to the battery. You're going to have a process that will begin called sulfation. Sulfation essentially is crystallization on the lead in the batteries. And once that starts to happen, it weakens the strength of that battery. So if you start to use a battery that's essentially low or dead, it will actually damage the battery and shorten the life of that battery. So make sure you're monitoring the batteries and you're not trying to start them when they're dead. So when you walk away from a truck, you want to make sure you're leaving those batteries in the best condition that you can. If you're going to walk away for an extended period of time, turn the master power switch off. You've got a switch right by your seat. When you flip it off, it's going to cut off all power out of those batteries, and that will protect the battery from going dead. You can also use the APU as a helping tool here, but it's not always perfect. The APU, the alternator on the APU, on some units we found it's not quite as strong and doesn't put out quite as much juice. So, grain of salt on that. You can use the APU if it'll start up. It will help charge the batteries up also, but depending on how effective alternator is, it may not be super strong. There is a way you can monitor and figure out if your alternators are doing their job. If you have an engine running, your truck or your APU, you should have at least 13.2 volts on your batteries. So you can check that on your truck dash. You go through the menu options and you can pull up what the battery voltage is on the truck. If it's showing less than 13.2 and the tractor or the APU is running, the alternator's not doing its job, and that's a red flag. So that's all I have on jump starts. I have a jump pack, or not a jump pack, a jump cable right here that I want to give away to you guys. So I'm going to see if you're paying attention. Question, what level should the batteries maintain at if an engine is running on your equipment, APU or the truck? What should your battery power be at least? I heard 14.1, I heard 12 something. 13.2 is the right answer. So you're the winner today. Congratulations. That's all I got for you. Does anybody have any questions about jump starts or your batteries?
I have a question on mine.
Okay.
Do we carry jumper cables or jump packs in the company store?
those cables that I just gave away, we do sell in our company store. They're about $40. Those are great cables, but that's what we have in the store. I will say they're kind of an overkill for what we need on the equipment. If you're doing a trickle charge off the reefer unit, you only need about 6 or 8 feet of cable, and the gauge doesn't matter as much. So,
yeah. How can you tell if your APU is charging? What type of current you're getting out, and if it's good, or how do you check that?
Probably the easiest way is to key your truck on after the APU's been running for a bit. Key your truck on and check your batteries. They should be at least 13.2.
So just as a question, you said something about earlier about if you're going to be stepping away from your truck for a long time, turning your main power switch off. When I do that on mine, I notice that there's some small amount of lights and such that still stay on and work. Is that a problem I need to get checked?
Maybe, yeah. There shouldn't be anything on the truck when you kill that master power switch. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
Just a quick note, you're mentioning your voltage and making sure that the engine is charging the battery and the APU is charging the battery. With the engine off, you're not going to be able to have any voltage indicator, but inside the truck, if you have a converter or an inverter, excuse me, there's a display that has a voltage on it. And I always keep an eye on my APU, make sure it's charging correctly. It should be up around 14, pretty close to that, but the 13.2 is minimum. And you don't want a deep cycle battery, so you know about that too.
Yeah, so that's going to cause the sulfation that I talked about earlier if you start trying to cycle it on and it's too low, below 13.2. Not all of our inverters have that little display, but if it does, you're right. That's a great tool. All right, well, thank you all for what you're doing. I know it's cold out there, so stay warm. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Great information. I love it when we give stuff away like that. That's great. One thing this morning, Des, on my way in, I saw 3 tractor trailers on the shoulder of the road on the way in from Republic. I live about 10 miles to the west, all on I-44. One was right up here at this exit, 4 ways on, sitting there. Now, I don't know what they're broke down for, but my thoughts were they're probably gelling up a little bit and can't go. So, just a reminder again, and I know Trent's talked about this for about 5 or 6 Fridays in a row. This time you got left it alone, but make sure you're treating your fuel and make sure you're treating the fuel in the reefer tank too, because nothing worse than a customer calling us say, hey, we can't get this reefer going, or the reefer died and the fuel hasn't been addressed. So temperatures like this, man, this morning, 5 below 0, it is cold. And, you got to take care of that reefer trailer and the reefer tank and treat and all that, and also with your truck too as well. So don't want to be broke down on the side of the road.
And if you are, make sure you are properly protecting yourself. For folks that, are like me that don't have hair to protect their head, get yourself a hat, get yourself gloves. Don't be, I know folks love the flip-flops, but this definitely isn't a flip-flop season. Make sure that you protect yourself just in case you find yourselves in one of those situations that Trent talked about. You don't want to, not only is your vehicle in harm, but at that point, your person is in harm too. So
let's take her up to one of the terminals, shall we? See what our other associates are doing?
Sure. Let's go east first.
Yep.
I think we got Rick Iford. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. How's everybody doing down there? Glad
Man,
you're keeping warm.
We're trying to stay warm. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. We got a little chill up here, but not too bad. We're not below 0, but we're close. So let's talk about slips, trips, and falls. We try to salt as much as we can and where we can. But even though you salt overnight, it still freezes over. It gets a little colder. Just watch where you're walking. Watch when you're walking between trailers because it's really hard to get some salt in there. So just watch where you're going and use extra caution when you're walking around your terminal.
That's great information. We appreciate it. As always, thank you guys for being with us. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Thanks. It's always a pleasure to be there.
All right, let's go west. I think we got Jonathan Grice this morning. Good morning, Jonathan.
It's actually Justin today. Jonathan's on vacation.
All right, even better. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. Hey, we're a little bit warmer than you guys as well out here west. We had snow all day yesterday, but we have fog this morning. Getting out of the car in the parking lot here at the terminal was a little slick, so just be careful, like Rick said, about slips, trips, and falls. Proper footwear, protect your head, like Dennis said as well. Keep warm. This week, I actually had a lot of compliments come my way, and this really reflects on Prime's culture. We had a couple of people come up to me and say, everyone's smiling around here. No matter how long you've been here, when you're a new associate or a seasoned associate, like a lot of in-house people here, I mean, that just shows how well Prime's culture is and how happy we are in our safety and service. To go along with Maria, I wanted to challenge everyone. I saw a sign on the way home the other day about doing one kind act or deed a day. That would help with your relationship. That would help with your self-worth and your self-consciousness. So just, do something nice, pick up a piece of trash at a rest area, hold a door for someone, or, even just smile. Smiling helps out a lot. So thank you.
That's great information, Justin. I appreciate you guys being on. Appreciate that information. And if anybody there in Salt Lake City has any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to step to the microphone.
Will do.
Dave, it's a good opportunity for you to do something nice. I need somebody to buy me lunch today, so.
Well, we got John Harden in the house, so I think Johnny's stepping
Perfect,
up.
man. Just giving you an opportunity.
I know.
So, I got breakfast covered. Now I got lunch covered, man. We can.
I appreciate that, Dennis.
There we go. I love it. So, we do see a few neon vests in the area in the Springfield today. That means we've got some new folks here. So I'm going to just take a quick opportunity to if you stay in for just a minute, give us an opportunity to properly welcome you to the team. Go ahead, stand on up. Let's give them a round of applause. Welcome. Love to see you. Thank you, guys. You guys can sit down, and hopefully folks stood up around the country at our other locations. We appreciate you being here. We think you made a fantastic decision of either continuing or even starting your trucking career here at Prime. Dave and I are biased. We think this is, the best company in the industry. I think, Dave, you're entering 24th year. Is that right?
Come June, it'll be number 24.
Yeah. And I
See a little gray hair going on, man.
I just entered my 23rd year here, and believe it or not, I didn't have any hair at that point either. So, the gray hair I did not have, but I didn't have any regular hair either. But, I think it was Justin Walker that talked about the longevity of associates here. And, we've got our driver advisory board coming up on Monday, as well as our 2, 3, 4, and 5 million mile dinner on Monday night. It just talks about, Dave, you're fine. You got your 24 years, but it's always more interesting to me to look at the longevity of the drivers that we have here. Any drivers here have been here longer than 10 years? Raise your hand. Anybody 15 years? Keep them up. There you go. Still got hands. Anybody 20? 19. So, Donnie over there, 19 years, probably about to hit 20 here pretty soon. I see a little gray in your hair too, Donnie, but hopefully we got 20 more in you, right? There you go. But that's a really important part of the culture here. People come and, they'll say, oh, you drink the Kool-Aid. Well, hey, call it what you like. It tastes good, and I'm in for the long haul here. I hopefully you plan on retiring here. I plan on retiring here, and hopefully folks like, Donnie Cook over here plans on retiring here, but a long time from now, long time from now. But that's a part of the culture here. You come here and you want to stay because it's a great company. We're not perfect here, and I'm talking specifically to our new folks when I'm saying this. We're not perfect here, and we probably never will be. I know me as an individual and even me as a leader, I'm never going to be perfect. So we take the opportunities like the driver advisory board to listen to the concerns, and we may fundamentally disagree on some things, and that's okay. I don't agree with everything that comes out of Dave White's mouth, but we have a fantastic working relationship. But it's so important that we're able to to exchange those types of ideas and be a part of those types of discussions that help make us better. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity.
And there's, you hit the head or the nail on the head right there, Dennis. We are a driver-based company. We love our drivers, and that's what makes this company. Starts at the top. Our owner, Robert Lowe, he's involved in so many different committees. He'll be there at the DAB meeting on Monday. He'll be at the DDAC. We also have that going on as well. At the 2, 3, 4, 5 million mile dinner Monday night. I mean, he'll have a long day, but he'll be there, and he's part of it. And that's what it just trickles down through the management staff all the way down to us. And that's what this company's built on. Without drivers and good drivers and professional drivers, a trucking company like Prime, we can't do it. We can't do it without you. And that's what it's about. It's about building, new drivers and all you that are coming in and get your CDLs. We got the best training program in the business. I've been around over 30 years in trucking, and I still have never seen a training program like ours where our drivers learning are out there on the road, dealing with weather like this with qualified trainers, learning what to do and what not to do, and learning to, hey, when the weather gets bad, you park it, and that's fine. That's okay. You'll see other drivers out there running down the highway in blizzards. That's their truck. That's not yours. You do what you feel comfortable with, and we'll support you 100%. So, it makes this place different. And like you said, it's the culture. It starts at the top and goes on down. So,
I say this a lot, and I'll say it again because I truly believe it. Prime is a destination company. Yes, we are a training company, and yes, that's growth is part of our culture. We love the opportunity for new folks to be able to start your career here, so that you can finish your career here. But, there's a lot of drivers out there in the industry that have bounced around that are just chomping at the bit for the opportunity to get into this company. And then sometimes we have to tell them no. There's even some folks that have left for whatever reasons, cameras, but that are wanting to come back now. And when we evaluate our experience with them and then their overall experience in the industry, we got to say, I think we've got some better qualified applicants out there that can be a part of this team. So this truly is a destination company. We love you all. Don't go too far from us, or we'll probably come looking for you if you're the caliber of folks that we want to come back.
And nothing that makes this company special is all of our vendors that work in-house, all of our truck dealerships and our trailers. And, they're here. Many of them are back there in the corner at the Friday morning meeting listening to all this. And they're here for you all. If you have questions, hey, to ask them questions. They'll be here after the meeting as well. And our next speaker, I'd like to bring up Abacus. They got an office right upstairs here. So this morning, I'd like to have Terry come on up, our vendor of the week. So great to have you, Terry. And we got taxes coming up in April. It's not a good word, but it's not a good word at my house neither.
But some people think it's the most wonderful time of the year. You all feeling that? No, it is not. But again, I'm Terry Wingo, and I'm with Abacus, and we're an accounting, tax, consulting, CPA firm that's right upstairs. One of the things that I want to make sure that you all are aware of is we are a vendor, and we are here for you. There's a little bit of a conception that we are Prime, and as much as we love Prime and know that this is an amazing company, we are a vendor in Prime. So there's a few drivers that are afraid that we're going to share your financial information with Prime. It's not going to happen. Okay, that's your information. So we are not. We are here to take care of you, and that's why we're here, and that's why we have partnered with Prime. Okay, so just so you know, that we are going to keep that information. It's yours. Now, you came here for a reason. Why'd you come to Prime? You wanted to make money, right? And we're doing really well, right? You're making money. Things are gaining, right? You're doing well. You want to keep that money, right? Because it's yours. You worked for it. The biggest thing that we see is that people decide that they're not going to pay their taxes. Yes, we don't want to. No, we want to keep our money, but something that we're all required to do, and it's something that we need to do. So we should pay our fair share, but you shouldn't pay any more than that, right? So you should be the captain of your ship, as you hear a lot here. You need to be in charge. Knowledge is power. When you have that knowledge, you know what you're doing. So you need to be aware of all the things that you need to keep track of for your taxes, right? All those expenses. Great example last week, Bill talked about those alloy locks. That's an expense. It's a business expense for you. Make sure you're keeping those expenses. Couple of dates. 1065 and 1120S, that's a business partnership. S Corp returns are due March 17th. It's usually the 15th, falls on a weekend, so it goes to that next Monday. Then the next one is April 15th. That's for everybody else, all the 1040s. Are you all ready to pay on the 15th? Are you ready to file? No. So if you're not, you can file an extension. That'll push you all the way to September for businesses and October for the individual. Okay? So you don't want to pay in any more than you have to. So make sure that you are filing, and that would eliminate those filing penalties. If you didn't file, get the extension filed. That's something that we can help you do upstairs. Okay? Come and see us. We'll take care of you. BOI, that's another thing. So if you have an LLC, business entity, that started in January of this year where you had to file with the Treasury Department, financial crimes, right? They wanted everybody to file that. That kind of went away for a little while, hit the courts. Now it's circulating back, and they've set a new date of March 21st. Now we're seeing some things in Congress, and it may or may not be abolished, but right now it's not. So they've set a new date of March 21st. So that's if you have an LLC and you haven't filed that yet, you're going to want to make sure you check in on that. We can help you with that upstairs. So if you have any questions or concerns, first and foremost, let's get you filed. Let's not have the IRS file a tax return for you if you don't file, because they will. Then you'll have a lot of penalties and interest. Make sure you come and see us. Find an accountant that you want to work with. You don't have to come to Abacus. Find somebody, though, that you can trust. Ask questions. Make sure that they know the industry. Ask them if they know what a lumper is. If they don't, you might say thank you so much and move on, because they're not going to know that that's an expense for you all, right? They should also be watching for that anti-gel in December. If those expenses aren't coming through, those are things that people should be asking, and they should know those things on your tax return. So make sure you find somebody that you trust, somebody that knows the industry, and then go ahead and get it filed, folks. Thank you all for what you do. We appreciate you so much, and value everything that you do. Okay.
Any questions for Terry? Oh, got one back there. Keith, can you travel on back, please?
Actually, more of a just a kind of comment instead of just a question. You mentioned filing the BOI thing, and I know I personally, running my own business, have started receiving a ton of emails to my business from various different companies offering their service to fill that out for $75 or $80. And I went and checked it out myself, and that is really easy to file yourself.
It is absolutely easy. And you can go online to the FinCEN website and you can file it from there. A lot of times it's just the time to do it. If you need help, that is something Abacus can help you do, but you can absolutely go to that site and be able to file that on your own. There's a lot of questions it'll ask you, but you already have that information in your LLC documents that when you prepared that. Good question.
I have a question online. Should the BOI be renewed, or is it just a one and done thing?
No, as of right now, it's a one and done. So when you do it, it's done. Now, we don't know how long that'll stay, but as of right now. But again, it's still on hold until the 21st of March, and that's when the deadline is. We'll wait and see. There's a couple of bills in Congress right now that they're deciding on it. But right now, I've not seen anything to abolish it, and that's what we're looking for. But right now, it's still on hold, and they're looking for different timelines. Right. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate you.
All right. Anything up in Salt Lake or Pittston, too? We don't want to forget you all. All right. Great. Great job, Terry. Thank you. Yes, another round of applause. Good job. We're going to have to bring her back up in a couple of weeks, or somebody from Abacus, somebody different. And she's had different speakers down here before. It's great, great information.
You know, I hate taxes, Dave, but I do like police and fire protection. I do like roads. I do like, schools. So, I got to do my part.
There you go. It all pays for it. So that's what they say.
That's what they say. So, hey, going back to Maria's conversation about relationships, you've often heard here at Prime that the most important relationship that you're going to have with any associate here is going to be the driver and fleet manager relationship. And I can't reinforce that enough. So I'm going to ask Ryan Sullivan from our refit department to come on up and speak with us this morning. Ryan is, a trucking convert. He went to school, at Missouri State like I did, studied, a trucking adjacent subject.
Sure.
Got a degree in
chemistry.
Right. So that's kind of the same. That's kind of the same as
Works out.
logistics and supply chain management. And, I had the opportunity to work closely with Ryan for a number of different years. And I can't tell you, we have a lot of good fleet managers. Ryan is good, but the reason I especially like Ryan, he's just a fun person to be around. He talks about easy to make a relationship with. Ryan Sullivan is probably the easiest person here to talk to and establish a relationship with. So good morning, Ryan. Tell us what you got this morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Dennis, for that introduction. I appreciate that. And before I start, we always have time for you guys. Always have time for you. Stop by if you see us in the office. Come by, call, do whatever you need to do. We always have time for you guys. So real quick this morning, I just wanted to go over a little tool to use when you guys are planning out your trip. It's kind of a little old school. Some of you guys might know this, some of you won't, but just wanted to go over this. This tool I wanted to go over is running a macro 19 for each stop on your load. For those that are not aware, a macro 19 is a request for directions to a specific customer code on that one. A very important part of your trip planning is looking up the local directions for each stop. The macro 19 will not only give you the local directions to the facility, but it may also contain, important information about the customer's site as well, such as if they have overnight parking, if they have a washout on site, if there's a washout nearby, gate codes, reefer fuel requirements, all kinds of good info on that one. By reading this info before you arrive to a customer, it's not only going to save you guys time, but it's going to save you a headache having to go back if they need cash for a lumper or your reefer fuel is not full all the way, something of that nature. Save yourself a headache running macro 19. So to fill out a macro 19, all you need is the customer codes provided by the trip info. So each stop will have a specific customer code. You put that information into that macro 19, it'll send you out the local directions to that facility on there. So make sure that you're doing that. So if you don't already use a macro 19 in your trip planning, please do so. It'll help you get there safely and on time. Straight to it. See, I'm a little old school still. This is crazy that I'm old school.
Say that again.
I said you don't have to put the code in anymore. If you get been dispatched, all you got to do is put 01 or 90 or.
And it gives you the local directions.
The local directions to all of it.
Man, good work.
Comes up on there.
You are awesome on that one. Oh my God, I love you guys. I love you. That's awesome. Yes, sir.
And we can get it even a little more fancy. And you can look at the last mile instructions in the app under your location, and that macro 19 information is there also.
Dude, this is making my heart so big how you guys do your trip planning. This is awesome to hear. That makes it a lot easier if you guys look up the information beforehand, before you get to a customer. That is so important. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Joy, and I'm new. This is my third week, but as a student, last night I went to the icon for Prime, and then there's 3 little bars at the top left, to the top right. You click on that, then you get over to my Prime, and then you drop down menu back over to the right, and then it's a lot of stuff. You have to kind of looking for a needle in a haystack, find that micro. And even when you get on there, it's blank. It's nothing on that page, and just has the word location in a bar. So when you, as a driver, you already have the directions for where you're going in the app as well. So you're telling me that micro is just in addition to that.
Yeah, so you can use that. There's always ways to find different information out there, like old school way, how to find DOT scales on your route, right? You can look up an atlas. There's a big old red dot right there where that DOT scale is. Or now we have Trucker Path. There's all sorts of ways to find that information. The key is finding that information before you get there. Doing that planning beforehand will save you a lot of time and headaches for sure.
Hey, Sully, got a question for you right here.
Come with
Okay. How long have you been around here?
I was an intern. I started in 07 as an intern on the fuel desk. I mean, I went from trucking 101 to grad school here for sure on that kind of stuff. Started out on the fuel desk and then worked my way into dispatching and then now a fleet manager.
So how many business partners you have today?
Ooh, 107 of them.
You got 107?
107 of them out there.
Now, let me ask you this one. I think I know the answer. You have a mobile phone.
I do.
And I bet that your business partners have your number, don't they?
Of course. Absolutely on that one. I bet you Don might even still have my cell number. Not even on the squad. And, well, I mean, he's on the squad. But
because you made a lasting impression. You helped him become successful, I'm sure, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 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 Of course I did. Of course I did.
So, Sully, tell me this. What is just the highest high you get working with your business partners? Tell me that. What is the very best?
It's that personal growth. It is that career development of an individual, starting out from that PSD, coming in here like I did, not knowing anything about trucking, trucks, anything to that nature, and seeing them grow into their own truck, get their own fleet, become trainers themselves. That is the biggest joy.
Well, just curious, anybody in here on Sully's board? Man, you got them all.
Got them working.
You got them all out loaded, don't you, brother? That's good. I will speak for me about you. What was said about you always being so pleasant and happy in your world is very, very true. You can never tell just how your day is. It just always seems perfect. We're blessed to have you.
So thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
You do a hell of a job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Let's give Sully another round of applause. We always appreciate, having those fleet managers here. And as always, Friday morning is never a great time for a fleet manager to be pulled away from those 107 folks that are trying to get a hold of him right now. But he's, one of those special ones that do a fantastic job of making sure that you guys are successful. Steve asked a fantastic question, and I'm gonna piggyback off that. He asked Ryan, what's the most important thing? What makes you the happiest? And Ryan talked about the development. Seeing a driver come in as a PSD, and I've just looked at the list that we have for drivers for the 2, 3, 4, and 5 million mile. And I looked at that list. It's about 3 of my old drivers that started as either just fresh out of truck driving school or started as a PSD that are on that list. And it just, you talk about the completion of a goal. 20-something years ago, these folks came here and had a vision, a dream, a goal, and to see that, they've achieved it, but they're, excelling in it by getting these type of awards and recognition. That makes the week. It really does.
Makes this place special. And that's what it's about, our development, our driver development. And, that's great. And Ryan's a great guy to work with too on the safety side as well. Always positives, as you can see, and does whatever we ask him to, and sometimes does more than that. He'll call us with issues he sees out there, and that's awesome. So,
one thing I do want you guys to take from that is, your fleet manager is never too busy to take care of you. That's what their job is. That's essentially what their job is. It's really not about the load. We got folks to take care of loads. Got folks to take care of setting appointments, planning, payroll. Your fleet manager's job is to take care of you, point blank. It's almost like a personal concierge for Prime. If you got something going on at Prime, really the first conversation you need to have about any of it starts with your fleet manager. Now, kind of usher you around where you need to be to get that challenge taken care of. So, who do we got next?
I think next we got someone very similar as what you went through, through your shoes, being an ex-fleet manager. And so we got Chris Martin from our driver development group. Good morning, Chris. He was a special guy when he was a fleet manager too. So good to have you this morning.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you. I don't have quite the energy that Ryan has, but I thought Ryan did a great job. And the best part of it for me was when he got done and he went over and he texted his wife and said, "Man, it went great." So I don't know exactly what it said, but you did a great job. Now, I'm Chris Martin, so I manage the T&T department in the refrigerated division. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about our driver advisory board, okay? And we call it DAB for short. And I'm sure a lot of you probably have heard of Driver Advisory Board. But what is it? What do they do? Okay. So years ago, we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get a group of representatives, driver representatives in a room with folks from here in the building, from all the different departments, and bounce ideas off each other. Okay. So what are we doing good? What could we get better at? What good ideas do you have? What are your concerns? What are you hearing from other drivers? Okay. And, we asked our fleet manager group to nominate folks that, deliver on time and they drive safe. And very importantly, that are good communicators. Okay. Because this driver advisory board, it's the mouthpiece of our fleet. And so that's what we do. So a few times each year we meet. We're going to meet, the driver advisory board will meet early next week. But it's 25 members. They represent every kind of driver here. So we've got, refrigerated, tanker and flatbed and hopper and intermodal, leasers and company drivers, owner operators. We have drivers on DAB that have been here for more than 10 years. And we've got folks that have been here for less than 3 years. So everybody's represented. Do we have some DAB members here? Can I have you stand up real quick? Yeah, stand up. Okay. So folks, these are your representatives, all right? We've got a few of them here. And, these people, they come into the meeting and they fight for you, they advocate for you, they brag on you. And a lot of the good ideas that you see come to pass come from this group of people. So stand up here. I'm gonna let them clap for you next. You guys stand up. Okay, everybody clap. All right. So a big part of our discussion at these DAB meetings, you can sit down now, but we appreciate you do a great job. So a big part of these discussions was, of course, around training and driver development, right? We all know how important that is. And, it got to be a big enough part of the discussion that we thought we need to just break that out and have a separate meeting that just dealt with training. So we have a similar group. They're called the Driver Development Advisory Council, DDAC. And we have 10 members, again, from each division. We're going to meet tomorrow morning, and we meet 2 to 3 times each year. But do we have any DDAC members here? Any of them made it in? Well, then you got to stand up. So get up. Okay. And some of our DDAC members some of them are also on the DAB. So there's a link there. But let's hear it for this guy here. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you. Yeah. So I think you said this is your last meeting, right? Oh, it's not? Okay. I thought that's what you said. But we kind of. Oh, got it. Okay. So the DAB members, the DDAC members, they rotate out. I think in DDAC it's 2 years. So we get, we get fresh people in the group that, new ideas, new perspectives. But, and I'll have one of you guys help me out on this too. Again, they're the mouthpiece of the fleet. And so there is a way that you can communicate with them. And if you have a question or something you'd like them to bring up in a meeting, I believe it is on the Prime app. Is that correct? That there is an Ask DAB. Is that what it's called? Okay, so Ask DAB. If you look for that on your app, if you have something that you'd like to ask them about or an opinion or a concern that they need to be aware of, okay? While I'm up here, if I get a microphone, I'm going to talk about training just a little bit here. So Like Ryan had mentioned, our training starts with, for most folks here at Prime, they start with a permit when they come here and they start in our PSD division, okay? So they're a student, they've got a permit, and, in 2 to 3 weeks, we hope to test them and then they can get their CDL. And at the start of the year, we made a change to how we paid our PSD instructors. And I'll tell you, a lot of that came from, discussions just like we have at DDAC. What would our instructors like to see change? And a couple of things that they wanted, with regard to how they're paid for instructing is they wanted more money up front. Okay. And, in the past, if you had a student, they're ready to take the test and maybe they come in and they freeze up and then they're going to take a test again. The amount of pay for that instructor went down every time there was another test, right? So those were some of the concerns. So we've simplified the pay and we've moved it a little more up front. So here it is in a nutshell, okay? So if you're a company driver and you want to instruct, and it's pretty simple, the first week that you're out there with that student, $500, okay? They come in and they take their test, $1,500, all right? So there's $2,000. Now, if that person you're testing came in with a CDL, sometimes we have people come in with a CDL, but it's been a while since they got the CDL and they haven't really driven, so we have them take this test. If you're testing someone that already has a CDL, it's $500 less. It's $1,000 when they pass. But so to recap, you're a company driver, you test somebody out, they pass. It's $1,500 total, $2,000 total, or $1,500 total. Okay, depending on whether they have a permit or a CDL. Okay. Now, you're a lease driver. If you're a lease driver, the first week you have them, $500, okay? If they have a permit, when they pass their test, $2,500. If they already have a CDL, when they pass, $1,500, okay? So $3,000 or $2,000, depending on whether they have a permit or a CDL. But again, you get all that money right up front. When they pass, you get the money, okay? And it doesn't change. Again, if it takes them 2 tries or 3 tries, the amount doesn't change, okay? And as I'm talking about this, I feel like I'm making a breakthrough here. Somebody in the room, I can feel it. Did anybody hear what I just said and say to themselves, I'm going to be a PSD instructor now? Is there anybody out there that this gentleman right here, sir, what's your name?
Ernesto.
Ernesto, okay. Can everybody, this is our newest PSD instructor at Prime. Can everybody give Ernesto a big round of applause? Thank you, Ernesto. We did not set that up ahead of time. Yeah, I appreciate it. Ernesto's been training for a while, yeah. And this is the deal, and this is why I wanted to talk to you guys today, because I talked to Ernesto in the hallway about this, and Ernesto's response was, that sounds great, sign me up. And I think that we've gotten a really good response to this change in how we pay folks. But again, any interest, and again, I would encourage you to reach out to our DAB or DDAC in particular, but through Ask DAB. If you're somebody in the room that you're not training, you've thought about it, or maybe you used to train and you haven't done it in a while, okay, you had a bad experience, but ask the folks in the DAB or reach out, specifically target that to the DDAC. But we've got a member right here, but they're great people to ask. If you have, go ahead. Ask anybody but you. Yeah.
Chris, you talked about the Ask DAB. And I saw somebody made a comment about it on the comments on the online this morning. There's been a little bit of change to the way the Ask DAB goes now. Under the old format, this person would submit a question and then one of the board members would respond. Currently, they're just able to ask that question and there's not a response mechanism in it. The board is receiving those. We are paying attention to them and we are bringing those up for the DAB meeting discussions.
All right, thank you for that. And again, I've been in those meetings and I can tell you, it's not 25 people asking questions for just their own self-interest. I mean, they are very representative and they're asking the questions that they get in this Ask DAB, okay? So don't hesitate to reach out to them. Any questions for me? Yeah.
Not personally for me, only because you hadn't mentioned it. How long do I have to wait before I can start training PSDs?
Man, I love that question. So 2 years with a CDL, or 2 years after you pass that CDL test. So I don't know. How long have you had a CDL? Yeah. 10 years. Okay, so you can take 5 then, it sounds like. One at a time. But yeah, you can start now. Thank you. Oh, wait, Ernesto.
Hey, Chris. I've done PSD before, and some of the issues that come up with the students is that they don't know what to expect when they come in. Some of them stay at the hotels. Some of them go out on the road. And I ran into problems where they get into their feelings. You know, they want to be at the hotel training to pass the test. On your end, what is being done to kind of set the expectations ahead of time? That way, when we take them on the road, you know, it doesn't blow up on us, you know?
Okay, so are you talking about expectations as far as?
You know, letting the PSD know you're going to go on the road, you're going to learn your pre-trips, and at the same time, you're going to learn the job, everything at once. Some of them, you know, they take it, but some of them don't take it.
Yeah.
Very lightly. And they want to come back, you know, to their hotel and do their pre-trip and have breakfast and have a warm bed to sleep in, you know.
It's new for everybody. And I think like we go down there, I know myself personally and Brooke Mosley, you know, every Tuesday and Thursday, we'll go down and talk to the orientation classes, and we try to really give them a good idea of what it's going to be like and what to expect, what to do if they have issues. We talk to them a lot about keeping in touch with their fleet manager. But, you know, and I think it's probably pretty hard too for them to know exactly what to expect. It's also new to them. They're learning a new skill. They're also learning a whole new lifestyle out there. Here's the best thing I could tell you, is bring the fleet manager into the truck with you, okay? Like, make them as big a part of the process as you can, all right? So they can help you with that, right? So if the trainee is, if they're asking you questions or they have concerns, let the fleet manager help you with that. That would be my advice. I think it's kind of situational as far as, you know, what are the different concerns that a student has, or I don't know if that helps, but we try to prepare them as much as we can through orientation as far as knowing what to expect. And ideally, we want to get them as much time on the road as we possibly can before they come back to test.
Chris, do you guys give them a choice?
A choice as far as train here in town or train on the road?
Yes.
No, we do not.
Because that's been the concern of quite a few of them. I've done like 5 in the last few months. They want to know, how come these guys get to stay there and stay in the hotel, and how come I got to go on the road? I try to explain to them that they're getting more training by going out on the road, but a lot of them want to stay at the hotel. I mean, a lot of these guys have never been away from home and stuff, and they get to stay in a hotel, and that's end all be all on them, you know, to be able to stay in there.
I hear that too. There's a perception, I think, from some of them that it would be better if they could just stay here and do it. And I think you just need to keep telling them, and let your fleet manager tell them too, that it's in their best interest. They're set up for success so much better if they can do that PSD, in my opinion.
I try to set them up too, because their TNT is not going to be at the hotel.
Yeah.
Once they get in that truck, they're going to run for, you know, a month, 6 weeks without ever being home and taking showers in the hotel, and they have to take it actually at a truck stop and stuff. A lot of them freak out when they take their first shower in a truck stop and stuff on there. So
yeah, we would, I think we would prefer they be over the road, but I'll just tell you too real quick, Dennis, if, in saying that though, if I'm a PSD student and I only do my PSD phase here in town, then we're going to still give you everything you need to succeed out there in TNT. And we're going to count on that TNT trainer to have that in mind when they start out with it, that we're not going to start out too fast. Okay.
Hey, you know, when the host comes up and stands next to you, that usually means your time's up.
I was waiting for music. I didn't hear any. I just saw a shadow behind me. We got one more question, do we, or no?
We have another question?
Yeah.
Just a comment. I've had 16 students and 13 of them trifected, and they are set up a lot better if they go out on the road, because I always make sure I get them ready for their TNT phase of it, so that their TNT trainer can sleep in the back knowing that that student is trained properly and is able to drive correctly.
I appreciate it.
All right, let's give Chris a round of applause. Hey, we had a pretty solid meeting today.
We did.
Let's talk a little bit about safety.
132 inspections. I think we were at 89 clean ones, 67% clean rate. So good job, everybody, on that. Don't cut corners. I know this type of weather conditions, it's you get out to your truck after being in a truck stop or going into a rest area, you just want to jump back in and take off. Please continue to do walk-arounds, check your lights, make sure everything's working. More importantly, when you're leaving, pulling out of a spot, make sure your trailer tires are turning. So go back and forth, because we've had a few brake skids, and those are expensive, replacing those tires. You don't want to do that. Brakes lock up on you because of the cold weather. You got to make sure they're turning. So go back and forth, looking in your mirrors, make sure you can see those trailer tires turning. If they're not, stop and let's get it addressed. So,
I'll leave it at this. We want you to make good decisions out there on the road. We usually want you to focus on three things, how close you are to the vehicle in front of you. We understand that you can't control everything that goes on out on the road, but you definitely can control how close you are to that vehicle in front of you. Of course, alleviate, the distractions in the cab, put down the phones, the whatever. There's a million different devices that you can have these days. Put those things down, make sure you're driving the appropriate speed for the conditions. Now that the sun's shining and out, some of the stuff is melting off. It may be a different driving condition than what it was at 6 a.m. And I'm going to add one on that. And I'm going to talk about fatigue a little bit. We've always talked about the 3. I'm going to start to talk about the 4th. Fatigue is something that affects every single person, every single driver differently. And we get a lot of complaints about the alert on the camera with the yawning. Really the parameter behind that is not for us. It doesn't take any way. It doesn't make you unsafe. It doesn't make you, it doesn't make you have to come in for a class. It's a warning for you. You've yawned 3 times in 3 minutes. You may be perfectly fine, or you may not be. Maybe a good time for a 30-minute break. Maybe a good time just to plain shut down. All right. But what that alert is, it's just to say, hey, think about what you're doing. Are you making the right decision for you and your family? What we don't want is you hurt, and we had a system in place there to help. So I'll leave it at that.
good point. All great points. So let's bring up our closing team, shall we?
Sure. Before as we have Steve Wutke come on up, I'm going to tell you that we've got technology experts over here on my right. We've got Richard and Brienne. If you need to get signed on to the Driver Eye app so that you can see your videos, they can help you. If you've got questions about Prime Mobile in general, they're over here and they can help you. So what? All right, I hear you. Steve Wutke, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing, Dylan?
Doing all right.
Good meeting.
It is.
A lot of territory. When you get your fleet managers up here, like Sully and his teammates, man, you get some good stuff coming. Not everybody's quite as enthusiastic as Sully is, but they all know their business very well. We've covered the driver advisory board, which we really get a lot from. And for those of you that are out there and aren't able to participate, it's wide open. I mean, we cover the waterfront. It's the way it should be. It's the transparency that our company likes. That starts at the top. And we got a bunch of people right over here that have been here. I'm going to call them seniors. I'm not going to call them old. I'm going to call them seniors that have been around here quite a while and have participated in our driver advisory board a lot. In conjunction with that, we're really fortunate to have an owner that loves to celebrate safe driving. So on Monday evening, we'll get all of those 2, 3, 4, 5 million safe driving people in here for dinner, as many as can make it. Many will stay out and run rather than take time off, and we appreciate that as well. But you'll be thought of and you'll be recognized whether you're here or whether you're not. Business is still a little bit challenging. It's up and down kind of on a weekly basis. We see our load count continuing to trend upward. So I think we're making progress. Our sales team's out there every day fighting and scrapping for every load we can get, not at the low price, but really as a low cost service provider, which means a lot to you all on a percentage of revenue. So we thank you, you new people. Stand up one more time. All you new folks, would you one time, please? I'd like to tell you all, I'd like to tell you all, really proud that you chose our company. But listen, we're not perfect. We try to get better every day, and we try to listen to what makes us better. You're entering a dangerous profession. And if you don't believe it, you talk to these people over here, they'll tell you. Because these four-wheelers are out here trying to wreck you all day, every day. And when you have the weather that we've had the last couple of weeks, it's a challenge. So if you don't feel comfortable as you get into this profession, if you don't feel comfortable with the weather conditions or the road conditions, don't run, okay? Tell me that. Don't run. You won't do that, right? You'll get secure, call your fleet manager, let them know where you are, and then when it's safe, you take off again, okay? Appreciate y'all. Thanks for choosing our company. Proud of you. Thank you. I'm going to bring up the president of our company, Darrel Hopkins. I'm sure he's got some words of wisdom. And then El Jefe, the boss man that started this gig. Okay, here you go.
I'll go quick because these guys just sucked up a ton of time. But I was reflecting on something this morning, and I thought maybe it's worth mentioning. You know, so my wife had a baby last week. And I know most of you are thinking, wow, you look way too young to be having a baby. No, I'm sure you're thinking the opposite. But you know, that little girl came out fighting for life. I mean, immediately trying to suck air into those lungs to get that body going. And it's kind of a miracle to watch. But it doesn't stop there. You know, I've got a good friend sitting right over here, Glenn Horak. He's more in my age category. And he's been fighting for life. He's been fighting cancer. But he's kicking his butt, by the way. It's really good news. So very happy about that. Point is, I don't care how old you are, you want to live. I mean, we all want to live. And in the infamous words of one of our illustrious drivers, Emily Plummer, just listen. Just listen to our DHF people. They're here fighting for your life. Listen to Cardinal Sleep. They're here fighting for your life. Listen to our safety folks. They're fighting for your life. We all want to live, and they want you to have the best life ever. So they're all here as a resource. Just take advantage of it, and we'll all live better. With that, I'll stop. I want to, hey, I've got it on. I know this isn't really red, but underneath it is red. And you probably see a lot of red around the room. We wear that every Friday. Stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. Really trying to honor our veterans. So with that, if you've served, we'd really appreciate if you'd stand up and give us a chance to honor you. Thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to El Jefe, our chief, and let him wrap us up.
You talk about talking. I mean, you criticizing others. My goodness, Darrell, you just go on and on. Steve, if you talk about somebody getting old, lightning going to strike you down, man. That's all I can say.
I ain't saying that.
I want to weigh in just on one issue that I heard this morning, and that is the driver training. It is much, much better for a student to go over the road. Because I tell you what, when you get going in this business, if you're gonna make a living, you ain't gonna do it over there on the pad driving around in circles. You know, it just don't pay that good. I mean, it might be pleasant, you know, more pleasant going over the road and those truck stop showers. Talking about truck stop showers, I mean, I go back 55 years in this business. I really do. I know it's hard to believe, Steve, but I do.
Well, you look at
there's a truck stop out in Gallup. I don't know if it's still there or not. Donnie, you know what I'm talking about? That shower is literally outside. It was outside. It was literally outside. So, you know, those truck stop showers, they're not all that bad now. You know, even Darrell would take a shower in one of those truck stop showers nowadays. But those old days in Gallup, New Mexico, I don't know. Man, oh man, it was cold, Steve. This time of year, it was chilly out there. Anyway, love you all, appreciate you. But you know, getting in that truck and going over the road right away. You talk about old school, new school. I mean, that is old school. That hadn't changed. You know, the best way to learn to truck is out there on the road, smoking and joking, standing around and waiting on a piece of junk. Some commercial driving school. That ain't the way to learn to truck. All you do is learn bad habits because you have old slacked out prime drivers that I probably fired because he was late, and unsafe. He got a job, for $12 an hour training people. And, you're just not going to have the high quality. And all you're going to do is hear them old trucker stories, like, I don't haul that freight. I don't go there, all that kind of stuff. Darrell, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a way to create happy campers out there. And we do always want to do things that please you, make you profitable, make you safe, and make you enjoy your experience here at Prime. Because, if it's no fun, it's no fun. And besides, happy drivers are safer and more productive. That's for sure. And that goes for in-house too. So we really value that. Folks, I love you. Let's rock and roll. Let's have, I think it's springtime. It's warm and that's heat wave going on out there right now.
We're gonna get in the teens today. Yeah.
Okay, folks. God bless each of you. Be safe out there.